Hi there. It's July the 8th, and in our progress through the first book of Chronicles, we're finishing off chapter 5 and then looking at the long chapter 6. The ending of chapter 5 is basically considering the tribes that lived to the east of the Jordan, Reuben, Gad and Manasseh, and looking at their stake in the land and also the outcome, which is basically that they were transported by the king of Assyria early on in the process of the decline of the tribes. And so chapter 5 in our version finishes off there. However, in chapter 5 of the Hebrew scriptures, it continues on into the first part of chapter 6 of our English translation. And so the first part of chapter 6 in English is actually the last part of chapter 5 in Hebrew. And it deals with the priestly tribe, the Levites, the tribe of Levi, and particularly with the three distinct sections of them, the Kohathites, the Gershonites, and the Merarites. And these had different functions. And in this long chapter 6, which traces through the genealogy of the priesthood, it particularly mentions people like Asaph in the time of David, who was one of the singers. It brings in that whole realm of music. It also looks at the various roles of the tribe descendants of Aaron who were burning incense. And at the end of the chapter, it looks at the different cities that were given to them as their possession. We remember that the tribe of Levi were not given any possession, as it were, any inheritance in the land, but they were given cities. And so there's a long list at the end of chapter 6 of the different cities in the different parts of the land that they were given. It spends so much time on these because, as we said the other day, it was important for the Israelites, and particularly for the priesthood, to be able to show their genealogy correctly. We see at the end of Ezra chapter 2 that priests who couldn't say their genealogy correctly or where they came from were not allowed to continue in the priesthood. So it was important that all these lists of descent were kept well, and we see that happening here in 1 Chronicles chapter 6. Have a very good July the 8th.